Welcome, welcome, welcome back to us. It's been a week, but there's been a few changes. Angie's still on holidays and having the time of her life.
She's living and loving and loving and living.
Living and loving and loving and living. So we've got Ariana Grande and
Hi, everybody.
imagine if we did. It'd be like we'd have to really get a high seat.
But she loves dogs, so you and her would get along. Big dog gal.
Oh, yes.
Obsessed with animals and dogs.
I've always liked her.
Me
but
too.
I do like you even more. So please welcome Ash London.
Hello, my love.
I'm so glad that you said yes to doing this. You are our first little fill-in.
Really?
We're going to have a few little fill-ins, like a rotating
Love that.
seat to keep it warm for Ange.
Yeah.
And you were our first. And I'm just so grateful that you're here
Well,
because
I'll be gentle.
I love you and I always love everything that you've done. And I feel like if someone's going to just come in and kick it, it's going to be you. So
I'm
thank you.
touched. Well, the feeling is very much the same because my husband said to me, "Oh, what are you doing this week?" I said, "I'm doing this," and I'm going to do a podcast with Yvie. And he said, "Oh, you love Yvie?" I said,
Then it's true.
It's true.
It's
'Cause
very
they know,
true.
He knows. I mean, I don't hate anybody, but I just if I don't like someone, I just don't say anything.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But if I love something or someone or some food or I will be the evangelist of loving it.
Yes, I'm the same. And you know what? It's that whole parenting thing. It's like don't punish the bad behaviour, just ignore it.
Yeah.
And really reward the good behaviour.
Yeah, when I love, I love.
Yeah, me too.
I'm in.
So I was just asking you off air, but I'd really like to just catch everyone up. That is listeners of our podcast
Yes.
about you. You've moved to Daylesford.
Kind of. So we moved from Sydney to Melbourne. My husband works in radio. We both work in radio. That's when we met. And we both quit our jobs when we were living in Sydney and had a baby
Yes.
because we were like, let's just YOLO it and do this together.
And during COVID.
During COVID, lockdown, pregnant, lucky we love each other so much.
Oh,
Just
no.
us and the dog in the apartment, living and loving and living and loving.
Oh, my.
And then the baby came and my mum came up from Melbourne. Thank the Lord.
You're a Melbourne girl.
Melbourne girl
Where'd you grow up here?
in Rosanna.
Where's
So
that?
like Greensboro, McLeod, Ivanhoe, that kind of.
Nice.
I lived in the Philippines from the age of like my teenage years, my dad's
you?
work, yeah. So Philippines and then back for like year 11 and 12 back in Melbourne.
Okay.
And then Sydney, Melbourne.
Yeah.
And you were back and then he got offered a job and he kept saying no. And we were like, why would we not come home? We've
Yeah.
got more help.
Is he in Melbourne?
He's from Whyalla, which is 3 hours west of Adelaide, but he had been in Melbourne for many, many years. So it feels like home for us.
Yeah.
So we're back and our dream had always been, because we watch a lot of like Escape to the Chateau, Grand Designs, any of those, anything where people are like living and loving and living in the country.
Who's the woman with the red lips and the magnificent orange hair?
Yeah, so
I
that's
love that
Escape to
couple.
the Chateau and Angel, Dick and Angel.
Right, I love them.
But that show got cancelled recently.
A controversy?
Controversially.
Do you know why?
Dramas on set. Apparently there was some tension between the off-air producers and team and the Strawbridges. I refuse to believe it. But where there's smoke,
Maybe
there's
you
fire,
guys
right?
could take over.
Oh, my God.
Just a Daylesford one, though.
Just Daylesford. So we just bought 7 acres, which sounds very big.
Yeah.
But it's a cottage.
Yeah.
No electricity, off-grid.
Are you kidding?
Solar only, succold.
Oh, my God.
So cool.
Okay, but you have solar.
There is solar and there's a fireplace. So my husband...
Do you have running water?
Yes, it's all rainwater.
Yep.
And I get it's gas, so hot water, thankfully.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be cold if I can have a hot shower.
Yeah.
If I have to choose between heating and a hot shower, I'm taking a hot shower.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been doing weekends there and kind of, fixing it up and just getting outside and breathing fresh air, which was our dream forever, but we didn't have the balls. And then we were just like, it.
But through the week, you're here in Melbourne.
Yeah, and then kind of Thursday to Sunday.
that.
It's just heaven. And Buddy, my son, it just wants to be on the ride-on mower all day and water the plants and all the things.
Yes, and because you were gardening, like it's just so lovely. Children need to put their hands in dirt.
Oh my gosh. And I'm learning to just let him get dirty let him do the things.
And once you do, you can see the joy in it and you're like, oh, I'm okay with this.
Totally.
And then you just all get in the shower.
We'll all get in the shower and it's great. We have no money now, but who cares?
Who needs it?
Who needs it? Because I don't want to like save all our money to enjoy when we're old.
No.
I want to give Buddy a life now. And if it means we have to cut down and whatever, we'll make it work.
Can I say, I used to be a nanny for years and years and years. So always rich people. Money doesn't make you happy.
No.
All that you need money for, you need enough money to pay the bills. Something that you never have to go, do we have enough money this month to pay the gas bill? Or that's as much money as you need.
Yeah.
Any more than that is a bonus.
It's absolutely true. And a healthy child. Like, you know,
rest,
beyond that,
you
it's
don't need
like,
anything.
Who cares?
No, you don't need anything.
And I'm very aware that a lot of people at the moment can't pay their bills, so I feel kind of extra lucky. And every month when that letter from the bank comes to say your mortgage repayment is changing, I'm like, damn you, damn motherfucker. Can I say the F word on this?
Well, we bleep it out on this one.
Great.
You can say it.
F you to the banks.
I'm not a mortgage owner and I don't even have a loan or anything. Like
Great.
I have, you know, those kind of immigrant parents that were like, you pay cash,
absolutely
nothing, and then you have it cheaper.
Yeah.
But I went through my 20s of credit cards and everything, like debt.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
That really early, young learning lessons. But I have this at the moment, almost sleepless nights thinking about other people.
Oh, it's horrible.
What we're going through at the moment, like I just think
every single person I know, no matter their financial situation, whether they own multiple houses or they're renting or they have kids or they don't have kids, they work full time. Everyone I know is facing their own specific challenges and having to really kind of readjust. And even like my favorite little shopping strip, I went yesterday to get some meat from the butcher. Every single retail shop was 60, 70% off or closing down. And I thought, this is the first time in my life that I've kind of been old enough to look around at the world and go, things are kind of a bit scary.
Yeah.
And like a lot of my friends in radio are like, is my job safe?
Yes.
And that's really scary, you know.
Yep.
So,
It's that whole, am I going to be okay? And, you know, being freelance, we're both freelance. It's really, you know,
never know.
Month to month. And you're like, I've got to trust here.
Totally.
But everyone I know in this industry is having some kind of lull. Or, you know, my manager even, she's a casting agent and she's like, this is one of the biggest lulls we've had in casting.
Of course.
And
I told my manager recently, I said, I don't care who the client is, I will be there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's an Ash London fire sale.
Oh, my God,
And I'm so lucky that I still get to work.
Whore ourselves out for anything.
Yes.
Say yes to anything.
Anything. I have no dignity left.
Lots of pubes.
But yes.
I don't know where that came from.
I do have. I'm Lebanese.
Yeah, good.
My pubes start at my knee and go to my belly button.
Yeah, beautiful.
I bought one of those home laser things.
Yeah,
because I thought
I
now I never do it.
Yeah, well, did you find it worked?
Kind of.
Because mine didn't.
Oh, mine worked, but I've got very white skin and very black hair.
That's what you need.
I'm candidate.
I've got the Polish-French skin, so it's light hair.
Hard for you,
It's so hard for me. But you know what? I don't really do it because I'm so patchy. Like I'm like an old Polish woman with maybe a big hair here.
Oh no, I am like, you know, there's renovation shows where they put the fresh turf down.
Yeah,
and it's thick and fast.
Let me ask you this though, honestly. Yeah. Would you prefer in animals a big bear or that hairless cat?
Hairless cat. Definitely the bear. Do you know I got this tattoo on my wrist. It says I am. Mm-hmm. I got it about 13 years ago in an apartment in LA, and it was like I think she was a porn star. It was her apartment, and my friend was house sitting it for her because she had two of those hairless cats.
Yeah.
I love all the animals, but I was terrified. So I'm sitting on this couch getting a tattoo so you can't move while this hairless, wrinkly cat thing, it was a ball sack with legs and whiskers. Yep. And it was, you know, I was not scared of the tattoo. I was scared of this thing scratching me. So now
and
that's
they're
what I think
quite
of.
Lovely.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're just like anything but just ugly, but they're quite sweet. But they've got that little bit of bristly hair, so it is quite testicly.
Testicles, exactly. The stretchy skin, wrinkly.
Testicles are fine for a certain thing, but you know what I mean?
You got to love, in my humble opinion, you got to love the man to love the testicle.
Absolutely. Yeah. My God. And you don't just want to talk to those every day.
No, absolutely not.
Talking of love the man, love the testicle, Adrian.
Oh, my love.
How long have you been married?
We just had our, 5th wedding anniversary or 6th.
Okay.
I think 5th sounds right. Like
Would
in
he
May.
remember that?
Or the same as me.
Same.
It would take him a minute, and that's okay. I'm not precious about these things. We are 5 years married and we were together not long. We got it all happening quite quickly. Oh, before I spoke to him, I knew. I grabbed Angus.
Tell me how you met.
Oh my gosh, it's a great
I love
story.
Angus, by the way.
He's a beautiful boy.
I love him.
So I was working in radio, and I was doing a night show with Angus, and I got dumped, and I was so sad. It was my first big dumping. My whole life fell apart, and I quit, and I went away to live on a desert island.
Did you?
Oh, legitimately. Ran away from my whole life. And then I did some travelling, and then, long story short, my manager was calling and saying, oh, look, there's a job going. Do you want to? I was like, I'm not coming back to radio. I'm done with radio. I'm going to find myself. And, I had, liked this guy overseas. I had been, living and loving and loving and living. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't happening for me in London. I couldn't get a visa. I was getting job interviews and, meeting with heads of radio companies and and I could not get a freaking visa. I was running out of money. Managers calling, come home, come home, come home. So I came home. With my tail between my legs, feeling like a failure.
Home, weren't you?
And then I met with Gemma, who had taken over the network, and I kind of gradually walked in there. She said, hey, the night show's finishing up. Do you want the slot back? And I said, oh, no, I don't want to do nights again. She said, but what if you can do it on your own and do what you want?
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah, I want to do it on my own. I want to do a music show and yada, 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 and I want this and I want that. And she went, okay. And I was like, oh, shit. So I, launched Ash London Live, my baby, maybe a month later, and that was in October. And then in November was the Arias, and I was in Sydney, and I was sitting there next to Adrian. I had Adrian and Amanda, who also works in radio on the other side of me, and DC, one of the big bosses, walked in, and he had this guy with him. And I grabbed Angus's leg, and I was like, who's that? And he's like, that's Dave Cameron. I was like, no, with him. Like, that's AB. And I was like, what? I thought AB was old because everyone spoke about AB like he's my mentor. He helped me through this. He's such a great guy. And I was having a band and AB came and I thought he was like 50, which is not old, but for a 30-year-old.
It's old.
And I was like, I'm going to marry him. And he's like, get off. I said, introduce me now. I'm going to marry him. And I was hassling him and Amanda to introduce. So they introduced us down the aisle, and I kind of reached over and shook his hand. And then the whole night I was just waiting.
Was this at the Arias?
At the Arias. And do you know what's even cooler? That night, and I didn't know this for months, so 6 months later. So we got together. 6 months later. I went to DM Amy Shark on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I go to my DMs and I see that she'd DM'd me the night of the Arias and I'd missed it. And she'd taken a photo of me from the balcony because she wasn't Amy Shark back then. She'd had, her Adore had just started. Yeah. She was in the nosebleeds. And she'd taken a photo of me and she said, I can see you. And the photo was me meeting Adrian.
Are you kidding me?
Meeting for the first time. Goosebumps.
I've got them.
Right?
I've got them.
And I was like, Amy, this is me meeting 80. She's like, no. So we met, and then he, we worked in different places, and he went away.
What does
with
he
his
do?
friends. He is now he always worked in radio, so he kind of runs the stations. So he now runs Kiss in Melbourne, which is what brought us back to Melbourne.
Yep.
So we were married a year later. He picked up the ring exactly a year later at the Arias. He was late to the Arias the next year, and I got annoyed with him. I was like, I have been working all day and I managed to be here on time. And all you had to do was put a suit on at your hotel and get here. And I don't understand why you're like, he's like, you're right, babe, I'm so sorry. He was picking up the ring.
Oh, my God. Have you got it on?
Yes.
Oh, that's stunning.
Yes, it's for
Is that
me.
a ruby?
It's a ruby from like the Victorian times.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
very old, and we found it in April and we started dating in January.
God. For those who are not listening, who are listening, not for those who are not listening, listen to this. I'm going to describe it. It's one of those ye olde rings from Titanic.
Yes.
And it's got all the diamonds around it with the ruby in the middle. And it's a gold band.
It's a gold band, but it's set in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it would be because it's old. Maybe.
I'm thinking
white gold.
It's set in. Yeah,
I love
it's a
it.
gold band. It's stunning.
Yeah, so
That's
amazing
kind
how
of-
we all met and it all just came together. But it had to be like that for me because I didn't believe I was going to. I thought my career was my life.
Yeah, yeah.
How could you have both? Like,
But
how
you
could you be
gave
that
up
lucky?
your career for a bloke
Yeah, I know.
that broke up with you.
I know. I was just. I just had a real
But it was all meant to be.
Absolutely, but I was just so unhappy and I thought, how dare I come to work every day and do the best job in the world and not be happy?
Yeah.
Like, make room for someone else to do it. And I've always believed that about radio especially. Like, the minute you stop enjoying
Yes,
it,
don't do
let
it.
someone else have a go. Don't
Please.
be overpaid and come into work every day in a bad mood where your producers who work 10
could
times
not agree
harder
more.
than you and don't get paid enough are going to deal with your bad attitude.
I actually think that of so many jobs. If you don't,
Yes.
I've always had this really weird theory that we should have like a job lottery. And I don't know what to call it, but to me it's called a job lottery where every 2 years, kind of like Hunger Games, you have to give up your job
Yes.
and you have to try another job.
I love that.
But if you, after 2 years, and you say, I'm not going to give this one up, and they're like, I don't know, why? Because I really love this one. Okay, well, you get another 2 years
Yeah,
on
I
it.
love that.
But everyone has to, because so many people won't give up their jobs because
course.
of job security.
Of course.
Imagine if you had job security by going to another job.
Yes.
But everyone did it until we finally had the puzzles in
together.
place.
Because it's like, it's a really stupid / brave / gutsy thing to do is to walk away from something
Yeah.
that you love.
Yeah.
And I could do that because I had no dependents and I had no responsibilities and I could just press eject on my life. I
Yeah.
couldn't do that now because I have, people relying on me and mortgage and all that stuff. But back then,
Yeah.
it was my reputation, like me feeling cool because I had a cool job. Well, that.
Yeah, but so many people in that position wouldn't have done that.
I totally agree.
And it's funny how the universe really does reward that. jump.
Absolutely. Totally.
Like I've always thought when you make the jump, it's not when you're teetering on the side,
No.
looking down. You've got to jump, and you've got to trust that
Yeah.
you're going to get caught. Like,
And
you're
that's
gonna be caught.
that's very much my personality. I'm very much like make a decision quickly and just commit
Go
to
for it.
Adrian, the opposite.
That's good though, yin and yang.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
He takes a very long time. His whole family's like that. So I'll get stuck in a text chain with his mum, who I adore more than life itself, and his sister, who I adore to the same degree, about
love
trying
that.
to choose glasses frames. One of them will be at Specsavers. There will be 30 photos and I just go, this one, that one, I'm out of this conversation.
Yep.
And the two of them will continue for a week. I just commit and do it. I'm less like that now because
Exactly.
I'm older and I'm a bit more
Yeah.
scared and a bit more less trusting of the world.
I'm
because
more
it's-
like that now.
Really?
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, I just think
Why
just
do you
trust
think?
it. Trust
Just
it.
because it's like the more practice you
older
have.
you get, the better you get at it. Unless you've made some massive mistakes, then you're just like,
I haven't.
well, what am I learning? Yeah, then trust it.
I think I just have less faith in the world now because
Oh,
I
I hear
feel
that.
like the world is not as safe as it was.
It's not.
And it really isn't. Exactly.
It really isn't. I mean, it's funny because I think, I listen to a lot of podcasts and things of those kind of topics, and someone did say we are actually living in the safest time in history.
So why do we feel so unsafe?
Well, I think it's because we're so aware.
We have too much
We have
information.
too much information.
We know too much.
Exactly. And that's imploding us.
Yes.
We're imploding ourselves. But saying that, these kind of conversations were maybe before pandemic.
Yeah.
So a pandemic has changed everything.
And having a baby in a pandemic,
Oh,
terrifying.
I was reading a thing this morning. I probably shouldn't say it. Let's not talk because you know what? I don't like frightening.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm 50 and I am really glad I haven't had children because when I read the news, I'm like, if I had a child to leave to this, I would be, I'd be prepping.
It's 99% of the reason we bought a property in the country.
Yeah.
Because
Are we going to build a bunker?
absolutely.
Good. Good.
I said to Adrian, because eventually, it's got no insulation, it's freezing, it's a cottage with the view of a lifetime. So eventually, when we've got the money, we'll build something. And I said, I want a bunker.
Yeah, you got to have
And
a
I
bunker.
love that it's solar, that we've got rainwater.
Yes.
I don't even
off-grid.
trust these days what's like coming out of the tap. I'm becoming very
Yes.
untrusting of everything and everyone.
Yeah, so we need to turn the news off a little.
Because when I have one day away from my phone, I'm so much happier.
Yeah, me too.
I feel so much more like just let me live in blissful unawareness for a little while.
There's so much in it. Just put your phone, like throw it away.
We all know though, it is just the challenge of my life.
Yeah,
to put this fucking thing down.
And you know what? We're lucky because we didn't kind of grow up with
Well, I did.
You did.
I had a mobile phone at 12, 13. I lived in Asia. Everyone had a mobile.
Yes.
So I was texting. Back then it was just texting and Snake. But still, like, man, I was
And
good
MSN,
at Snake.
was it
and
MSN?
MSN and ICQ and all that. So I feel like my brother's 10 years older and he avoided it. So now when he talks about his kids and phones, I'm like, Ramon, trust me when I say if I am addicted and can't put this thing away, how is your 13-year-old meant to cope?
Oh, my God.
It's ruining my life. I'm 37.
Yeah, get rid of them, I say. And, like, the later the starter, the better.
But he will be that teenager that hates his mum because he can't. And I said, honestly, you can hate me down.
It is a Jonah Hill you should die on. I do want to ask you about the Jonah Hill stuff this week. I asked you about your husband because I've never met, I think I have.
You would have met him.
But I love him from afar because I'm a single woman and I'm a single woman who's a feminist and really hates the patriarchy.
Yeah.
So when I see men who I think are feminists and who treat women really, really well, not just as equals, like really, really well for the women.
No, I mean,
women are.
He quit his job for me when I said, I got a job in Sydney. He had the job of his dreams. And he went, great, I'll quit tomorrow. And he did. No question.
There's so little of these people.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he also is just lazy, though. And he was like, great, I can put my feet.
No.
I get what you're saying. And I agree.
No. See, no, because if he was a shit, he would say,
what about
excuse me?
Oh, yeah, there's none about, of that.
Yeah, if you want, you can start, when we have babies, that's also over for your career.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, seeing him, and there are so few, I could hold them in my hand, the names of men that I think are f***ing awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Jonah Hill was one of them, just because he did that great
Stutz.
Loved it. And then he's f***ed it.
Yeah, but you know what? I think he's just gone too deep into the psychotherapy rabbit hole. Yeah. And when everyone around you isn't in the same place, they're not on your wavelength. Yeah. So you can't expect everyone to take your best intentions to heart and understand what you really mean. And, look.
But there was the text messages that Sarah Brady has leaked. This is his ex-girlfriend who, if anyone isn't on, like this week, seems to be the trending topic. Yeah. But if you don't know, his ex-girlfriend, her name is Sarah Brady. She is a professional surf instructor. Model.
Yeah.
He is Jonah Hill.
Yes, that's it.
Brilliant actor, I think. Like, I mean, he has proven himself not to just be a comedian, but an actual, like, the one with Brad Pitt in it. Moneyball.
Yeah,
like,
loved him in that Moneyball.
Wall Street. Like, he's just, the one where they went overseas, him and Channing Tatum. No, there was, the guy Miles Teller. That was based on, oh my God, watch that one. Because it's such a great story and it's a true story. Such a great actor. And I thought when he did Stutz, I cried because of the weight stuff. Yeah. And, the way he was explained it to and the way he explained what food became to him as a child and how he became funny, all of this kind of stuff. I really related to him. I was like, good guy. And I love Beanie Feldstein.
Yeah,
like, I just think that's his sister.
Yeah. I didn't know till I watched Stutz and went into the Wikipedia rabbit hole and then I was like, of course. They look exactly the same.
Yes.
Duh.
And that's, I mean, and no one knows he's Jewish because his name's Jonah Hill. It's like, but she's incredible. I actually keep everything I'm reading this week, in my own head go, what would Beanie think? What's Beanie thinking about this? Beanie just got married to a woman. Yep. And I just really want to know what she thinks of this. Because, they may not even be close.
But also, my immediate family say some shit that is deeply offensive to me and I do not agree with, but I love them to death.
Of course.
So I think you're very forgiving.
Yes.
And we don't have the benefit of knowing and loving Jonah Hill.
No, we don't.
So I find it really hard in these situations to look at private texts and make judgments when I don't know and love the person or know the person. But at the same time, you read it and you just go, this is,
Let's read out the text.
No
bueno. I'll read out the text first. And then the next question I actually want to ask you is, what do you think about showing the public private texts?
Great. Oh.
Because that is something that people are really jumping on the bandwagon
I feel sick thinking about it.
Oh, me too.
But
me too.
Read the things.
Okay, so one of the screenshots that the ex-girlfriend has shown what he was like. It's like, I don't know, I want to know what prefaced this, like where she's gone. Like, you know what? It's been 2 years since I was with this dickhead and now I'm just going to blow him up.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him cancelled.
Yeah.
And here we go.
And she's been sitting on them and he would know she's been sitting on them.
Yeah, well, he's just had a baby.
Has he?
Yes, this is the backstory of him and Sarah. He loved her as a surfer.
Yeah.
He pursued her, made sure he met her, made her fall in love with him, blah, blah, blah. She's 13 years younger than him.
Okay.
He's now with a woman 13 years younger than him, and he's just made her have who knows? Who knows? I don't know what the agency of this new woman is, but she's now just had a baby. She's 26. He's nearly 40.
Yeah.
So he likes younger women by the sound of things, and by looking at Sarah, maybe strong women, but then doesn't like them when they're strong.
And I've been there. Like,
yes, we all have.
The thing that attracts the man to you is the end what he hates the most and tries to control and ruin so he can feel like a big strong man.
Too often. That's why I choose now just to be single rather than go through it all again and find out.
Love and live.
All right, here's one of the screenshots. If you need... And what are the 2 dots? What do you call those?
A colon.
Thank you. If you need a colon. He says, if you need these things, surfing with men, boundaryless inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places and from wild, recent past, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. Like, there is so many more. Did you see the other screenshots?
Oh, yeah. I read it all.
The gaslighting and the the Darvo that it was.
Yeah.
But this is the big one that she started with.
And can I say, if this text had been sent before they started dating, this is the expectation. She can look at that and go, no bueno, not for me, thanks, but no thanks. I just feel this isn't the message you send during.
He started going out with a woman who wears a uniform at her job, which is the first 2 things.
Yeah.
Can't do your job with the male species of humans, and
to model,
the
to
fourth
post
one,
pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, which is like, which are all things, because I discussed this with Adrian.
Okay.
And what it all came back to was like, the thing that weirded him out was that these are things that she was doing before they got together.
Yeah.
So it's not like she was one way and then they got together and magically she starts surfing and posting photos of herself in a bikini, which is still her prerogative to do. Mm-hmm. It's like you said, the things that probably attracted him. And I think therein lies his issue, is that, well, if these are the things that attracted me to you, then other men are going to be attracted to you.
Great.
Awesome. Good for you, babe.
How wonderful.
Why is that a problem?
How hot is my girlfriend? Everyone wants to be with her.
Totally. I feel sorry for him. In one tiny way, I think, like, being clear is always the best thing. Clear is kind is clear. He's being clear at least. But he's being clear
at the very least.
About
being a dickhead.
Being an asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, if that's how you really feel, be open and honest about it, but do it at the start of the relationship before someone has their life intrinsically bound to
Yeah.
yours, and then it's messy and ugly, and they have to kind of unravel it.
I think the most important thing in all of this is when he goes on later in screenshots to say that these are his boundaries. And
Yeah, tell me what you think about that. Are these boundaries?
no, a boundary is a value you place upon yourself.
Yes.
And that's something that, is important, and you can then let people know what your boundaries are. But the boundary is not placed
You cannot do this
on someone else.
Yeah.
And it's not even an action.
No.
A boundary is a value.
Yeah.
That you,
What do you think would
I
be
won't put
an
up with.
example of a great boundary you would have in a relationship?
I'm not a great drinker,
Mm-hmm.
so therefore I am not going to come out with you while you're drinking because it triggers me.
As opposed to, I will not allow you to drink alcohol in this house.
Exactly.
Or go out with your friends if you're going to have a drink that you can't go.
Exactly. It's got you do you, but I have to remove myself from this because that's my boundary.
Totally.
He doesn't know what boundaries are, and that's what I keep thinking. What would Stutz
What
be
Stutz
thinking?
be thinking?
He'd be like, "Oh, Jonah,
Come on, bro.
I thought I told you better than this."
I agree. Or maybe he's a shitty psychotherapist and
I'm starting to think that.
you know,
now too.
maybe, which is, I hate when this happens.
Yes,
when
so
you
do I.
love something and then it gets ruined.
Yes. Okay, so now we know he's a dick.
Yeah, I don't want to say it because I'm
He's a
private. I don't want to, but yeah, it's dicky. It's dicky.
Yeah, it's dicky.
Yeah.
Behaviour.
It's dicky behaviour.
Yeah. But I think more important than that is now the people who are reading
Yeah.
and defending
Yeah.
these. And there is a lot,
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of women,
Yeah.
but mostly, well, in the beginning of her story, Sarah Brady said, if any of these things, if you get any of these things sent to you, women,
Yeah.
start making an exit plan now, which is, these are the red flags that you don't want to have. And now we have all these people saying, I think, firstly, very clear, very concise, very honest, very respectful. And then we start to go into this is bad. So
Yeah.
what I want to know is you show your husband.
Yeah.
What would your husband, how would he react if you read these out to him?
Well, I did.
How would you feel if I put pictures of myself in a bathing suit or sexy photos on Instagram? Would you feel comfortable with that?
Well,
Careful.
I would feel a bit confused.
What if I had a really hot body? I don't know. I do have a hot body
So
in my
hot,
own
baby.
special way.
The hottest
But
that
if
I've seen.
I was into that, which I'm not, but if I was the kind of person who maybe pretend it's not me, just your partner in general, because I would never do that because it's not for me.
But I wouldn't be with someone that wanted to do that. Isn't that what he's saying?
Yes, I suppose so. But she did that before they got together. In fact, he slid into her DMs.
He knew
in
she
the
was
first
doing that kind of
place,
stuff.
being nice.
And now he's trying to say,
saying-
don't do it.
Yeah,
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
weird.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
weird.
What about boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men?
What's boundaryless mean?
I guess up for interpretation.
Who sets the boundaries?
What
of
would
the
your
friendship?
boundaries be? Would you have boundaries for my relationships with other men?
Nah. Oh, don't have sex with them. Or, any of the other
Give them
fallacials.
If I was having lunch once a week with the same single straight guy, how would you feel about that?
I probably have no issue.
Yeah.
As long as you're telling me about it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Do you reckon you could date a model?
Nah.
Really?
I mean, not another one. After you. Maybe this is a bit stereotypical, but there's too much to maintain there, isn't there? Don't they have to be always on, always looking great?
What about
I
if you
much prefer the natural a la wake up, put no effort in,
Oh my God, we're perfect for each other.
but still be so hot.
Okay, so it still has to be so hot, but natural, effortless.
Yes.
Yeah, but as if Miranda Kerr doesn't get out of the bed in the morning and look absolutely 10 out of 10.
Well, you know that I have a secret crush on Miranda Kerr. It's unfair to bring her into
So
this
could you
conversation.
date Miranda Kerr or would you be too insecure? Honestly.
What, would I be too insecure to date Miranda Kerr?
Yes.
Are you joking? Obviously, yes. I would be so intimidated I wouldn't even be able to say hello to her.
Your wife.
But one thing I do want to bring up is that I grew up in church, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the first kind of 25 years of my life, I was in like happy clappy.
Were you?
Yeah. So I grew up with a lot of this kind of, and I'm not saying this is for everybody listening that is a person of faith. It was just kind of the specific strain that I was involved in. There were a lot of strain. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of shitty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this stuff would have definitely been upheld within heterosexual relationships, whereby the men, there's a lot of like the woman can't be hanging out alone with other men, and you definitely couldn't be posting sexy pictures. And it was kind of framed around this idea of like protecting marriage and like some things are just for marriage, blah, blah, blah. But I think 99% of the time was really stuff that was only imposed upon the women. So I think a lot of this actually feels quite natural and comfortable for me because it's what I've grown up with, but it's what I've spent 12 years unraveling and kind of unprogramming, which is like a lot harder than you think.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people could kind of justify this in a really what they think is healthy and respectful way.
Yeah.
But my issue is that most of the time it's only the women that are expected to adhere to these rules and expectations, and the man is just supposed to be kind of protected from it all, and which I think is really, really shitty.
Yeah, well said. And that's a great insight and look at it because...
Oh, there were so many things that... And this isn't stuff that my mum necessarily instilled in me because she's pretty cool, but it's the faith.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's always this idea that, you know, as women we have to kind of be modest and we have to
most
like...
religions are.
Yeah.
About making the woman as modest as possible.
And controlling the woman.
And as subservient as possible.
Absolutely. And I think when a lot of people kind of de-religify themselves and kind of get to a place where it's more about their own core personal beliefs as opposed to what religion has told them, I think a lot of mainstream religions can actually be quite liberating of women and can champion women, but it is hundreds of years of men kind of twisting it to be something that is quite controlling. So I'm not saying it's actually whatever God you believe in's fault. I'm saying it's probably the men that make it into something because through millennia women have tried to be controlled because we're so fucking powerful.
We're so powerful.
Yeah.
We can make humans. That's a really big thing.
Can you imagine how I felt when I built a baby and then it came out of me and it was a baby?
And it's a proper human.
A functioning human who now lives and breathes and talks. I am like, I'm the best.
Yeah. I have a friend who's on Instagram. Her, she's just had a baby. Her name's Ree Down. I don't know if you know her, comedian. And she's just, she's so funny, but she's like, if you think I'm like posting way too much about my baby or blah, 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 she said, you can pretty much get fucked. But I am obsessed with this thing I made.
Obsessed.
Everything it does, I am absolutely blown away by.
Yes.
And it's funny because when a woman has a baby and a man is in the room, I truly believe that's why men weren't in rooms for a long time because the awe that they get from seeing what the woman has to go through to do this. I've spoken to husbands or partners that say, I've never seen anything like it. Like, I've never seen that. I've seen her in a completely different way.
Totally. Well, I had a C-section, which means I got to watch my husband's face as he saw them bringing Buddy out of my stomach. Can you imagine?
No, I couldn't.
I'm watching him watch. And I'm like loving life, living and loving and loving and living. Just like,
feeling
what
nothing.
Does he look like? Does he have curly hair? Yes, darling, he has curly hair. And it was just, our relationship definitely changed.
Yeah.
It was already pretty great.
But so it should. And that's what breaks my heart if it doesn't. If that
I love that your friend just said that. Like, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
Like, this is going to sound like the biggest name drop of all, but I don't mean it to be.
Name drop.
But after the Harry Styles concert, I was sitting next to Daryl Braithwaite and Harry Styles sang Horses.
Yes.
And I put a video up. And I guess someone at the label, because Harry Styles doesn't follow me, but someone at the label obviously mentioned to Harry, Ash was sitting with Daryl. So he responded, and it took me how many seconds, Yvie, to send him a photo of Buddy? 12 seconds. Most girls would be like, I'm doing great. Here's some hot photos of me. Or like, and I was like, had a kid. Here he is.
Oh, my God.
Like, I don't care about anything else. All I want you to do is see my child.
See my child. And
Harry
he saw
Styles.
it. Did he respond?
He said, that is the most Ash London baby I've ever seen because I dress Buddy in a litany of colours.
Oh, my God.
He looked like a drag queen most days.
Yes.
Like just
a little Gorman boy.
little Gorman boys,
Love
fashion
it.
prince. But I'm the same.
Oh,
like
I know. Love it.
there's part of me, and I show him a lot more privately on my kind of, the green circle because he's a baby and he didn't ask for it. But if I, trusted the world more, my Instagram would only be Buddy.
Yeah.
Because he's the best.
I have 2 dogs, so and they are I birthed them.
Of course.
And I've birthed all my babies. Like I've
Obviously.
had 80 babies.
You
It's quite
are.
weird, but
How does she do it, ladies and
just
gentlemen?
I got a little altercation just this morning because I have such a massive dog. And, when you see a massive dog, a woman with a pram, she was like, and I just get this mama bear rage immediately. Like, don't you dare.
No.
Like size, fat shame, aggro shame my beautifully chilled,
Yes.
subservient, just this incredible
hurting
soul
anyone.
of a dog. Just don't do it. And, you'll get the wrath of me. But it was funny because I was at another mother. So the mother was like, and she actually yelled at me, Alyssa kind of math style, I have a child.
Oh, gosh. So does everybody, though. Like, yes, it's a miracle, but if you've got 2, absolutely.
Anyway, I love that we started with Jonah Hill and ended up like just mothering.
Oh, yeah.
Like saying how wonderful mothering. I do feel hopefully that Jonah Hill's just had a baby and that maybe he's had a baby with a feminist who's going to raise the baby to say your dad made a few
Did he have a
mistakes
son or a
here."
daughter?
I don't know.
You don't know that. I don't know the gender. I don't know. Yeah. Look, it's
We can only hope.
but not all. I don't think all people have the transformative experience that I have had, and in many ways, Adrian has had about with becoming a parent. Like you think that it, but I look around sometimes and I think, no, like I don't think. And also, I don't know how involved he is. There's a lot I don't know. I really want to hope the best for him.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if a couple of the things that I'd said over text were leaked, I think people might think I was a bit of an asshole.
Takes me back to my question. We didn't answer it. What do you think about leaked texts?
No.
No?
No. I think maybe if you're Jonah Hill, you have to expect that anything you text to somebody, and that just comes with the fame. So in that sense, but it's a tough one. What do you reckon?
I'm very torn because I think, people who take nudes of themselves and then get them leaked, and they get blamed for it. I'm a big one of that was private.
That's a really good point.
Don't ever say that you should be able to show someone's naked body because they took a photo of it and you happen to hack into it. But this isn't a hacking.
Same thing. Should you be able to share someone's shitty? Because
behaviourally, I think, she's made a point, and if you're going to, it's like, people that go on reality TV and they're like, I got edited badly.
Yeah.
It's like, but you said it.
I'm trying to put myself in her position if he had sent me those texts and like you said that we don't know what went down to kind of like be
to bring this up
later. Yeah, because I don't think he was like shitbagging her publicly, but maybe he was making her life hell privately, in which case go for your life, sister. I just don't know. And what is the line at which once that's crossed, you're allowed to just go, okay, well, I'm going to show the world.
Well, can I also just say one more thing? And this is more towards what I'm leaning with. I'm okay with it because we have so much violence and domestic violence in this world, men against women.
But far majority. Every piece of data points to the fact that men commit domestic violence against women. Yeah. It's
coercive control is a part of it. So I just think the manipulation and gaslighting of these particular texts are domestically violent to me. And if, they went through the court of law, they probably would be deemed a part of, family violence or domestic violence, whichever way you want to call it. And we are constantly relied upon as women, especially by our partners, to keep their secrets and to keep their reputations looking great. Yeah. We family courts are filled with women who won't reveal the secrets of the man. And I just think we've got. Imagine if we just as a collective started saying we're not going to keep this shit for you anymore. We're not going to keep them in our phones. We're going to show everyone who you really are.
Yeah.
And you all can start being scared because it's going to happen to all of you.
Yeah.
If you say it, not just say it, but if you treat me like this, I'm going to show the people that matter to you.
Yes,
who
and
you
there
really
is
are.
there is a difference, I think, between something kind of coming out in an argument and he's planned that text message, right?
It's very
he's put something in. It's in
very
dot point
manipulative.
form.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've said things before to Adrian, and like we don't fight, but when we're having a disagreement or a heated discussion, and it comes out of my mouth, and as soon as I hear myself say it, I go, "Oh shit! I don't actually believe that. I've gone
too far.
Gone too far."
And you know what?
Take that back
when
though,
you're
to text.
texting it as well, when you know it's something you've not meant. There's always really bad spelling mistakes and grammatical
absolutely.
because you've sent send way too. Nothing. There's nothing grammatically. I mean, apart from boundaryless,
Boundaryless,
which
I don't know how
I believe he thinks is
Yeah,
how
yeah,
you
yeah.
spell it, but. He's really re-looked at all of that.
Yeah, see, if that was me, I would have shared that text with like 10 of my closest friends before sending it and gotten am I going too far here? Is this an appropriate thing to send? And
your friends would have, 10 of them would have said, Ash, girl, put your phone down.
Exactly
what
right.
What the F are you thinking?
Yeah. Come on, Jonah.
Yes.
Should have run that by somebody. But
yes.
I'm interested to see how this plays out for him in the long run, whether we're going to kind of get over it in a week or because we have had many examples lately of male superstars whose careers have been forever tarnished because of shitty behaviour. Which I think tarnished is a very interesting word because their careers are not like we've got the John Depp stuff. We've got the I think Kevin
Pitt
Spacey's
stuff.
the only one who's been properly cancelled. I can't think of another.
And he's gay.
Will
Is
Smith.
Is there something in that?
Well, I think so. I
Because
definitely
the straight
think
men
so.
are not being
because those same stories
careerless.
surface constantly about it, that happening to young women, and no one seems to care as much. So I think definitely.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Will Smith goes.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah.
Perpetrated against another man.
I think he'll
publicly.
be fine.
I think we'll see. I don't know.
I reckon if you're straight, you're a man, you're fine. If you're gay, you can get cancelled. Kevin Spacey is great. If you're a woman, pretty much over.
We wouldn't dare. Anyone.
We're waiting to cancel you.
I think any woman in that position would know better than to send that text because they would know very well that it's all over Red Rover. They wouldn't have the same kind of confidence.
No. And Jonah Hill, you wish. Yes.
You're
Can we
so
just
good
talk
at
every
this.
day? So are you.
No, you are, but it's like you. Because it's different to like be the one leading the conversation and still not make it just like a list of boring questions that someone answers and you kind of move on to. It's been a wonderful conversation. I feel smarter and more interested and interesting for having had this conversation.
Thank you. So I'm absolutely honoured to have had you here.
Good on you, babe.
And will you come back again?
Please.
Good. Lock that in. I'll make sure she signs something, Rach. Thank you very much. Okay. I've just got a few rapid quick fire questions.
Me, baby.
Okay. Who's the best, your favourite artist that you've ever interviewed?
It's a tie. 3 ways.
Oh, hello.
Because I can never Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles.
Why?
Taylor Swift makes you feel like the two of you are best friends and you are on a wavelength that no one else is on, and she's just enchanting. Before I met her the first time, I was like, I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't get
I
Taylor
was
Swift.
like, not for me. This is maybe 10 years, a long time ago, maybe 10 years more. And I walked in there and within 20 seconds I was just like, this bitch is cool. She's cool and she's smart and she just only has eyes for you for that 8 minutes and you walk out of there and you're like, I'm in. Ed Sheeran does not have an ounce of pomp or
ego
about him. He
looks like that.
A normal human being and you just forget that he's Ed Sheeran straight away.
Yeah.
Like he is the real deal. And Harry fucking Styles, man. I've just always loved him.
You need not say another thing. I get the Harry Styles.
Exactly.
Thing. He is everything.
He's wonderful. He's a good dude.
From the very moment they put those 5 boys together, he was such a standout.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look at him now.
Are you still friends in contact with any of the celebs that you've interviewed?
Well, like, yes and no.
We know Harry.
Yeah, but we're not friends. We just, like, stay in touch a little bit. But, like, I would never hang out with him recently. Yeah, just like you can't help it. Like,
Yeah.
I did it for so long.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long that sometimes it's 7-8 times you hang out with somebody, so it makes perfect sense that you feel like mates.
Yes.
It's weird, but it's made me really realise. Like, I probably did for 10 years, maybe 300 interviews a year, right?
Yeah.
3,000 times. And there's been very few times where I've ever felt like the person sitting opposite me was any better than me or was any different to me, because they're just insecure, normal people.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more you realise they've just got a different job to me.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of job that people care about more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's the worst?
Jeremy Renner.
Really?
I've had no bad experiences, and I mean that, but everyone I know who spoke to Jeremy Renner, and I don't even remember what the junket was for, but I knew like 5 people that spoke to him that day, and all of them were like, he's the worst.
Why?
He just didn't want to be there,
Right.
which I understand.
Do you think that was just a day?
No,
for him?
I've heard from many people that he's just, that's just his shtick. But don't sign on to earn the millions of dollars and do the press tour if you don't want to do it.
Act like you're liking it.
Pretend, which everyone else does.
Exactly.
If Matt Damon can do it,
Yeah, anyone can do
you
it.
can do it.
Have you followed his accident?
No, something with a snowplow.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to follow it because, you've interviewed him and he made your day a bit shit.
Yeah.
I have followed it, and it's a horrendously amazing story of.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he is. He is.
And what actually happened on the snowplow? It's not funny. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of
No.
Mr. Plow in The Simpsons. Mr. Plow, Mr. Plow, that name again
That's
is
who
Mr.
came
Plow.
and
He
no.
was Mr. Plow.
He has his own snowplow, and you know how big they are.
Big.
And it just wouldn't go, and he put his leg out too, and the leg got caught, and anyway, it ended up going over his entire left half of his body, squashed him, crushed him, and he's had to learn how to walk again.
Good on
and
him.
He made himself, and this is funny because of what you like. He sounds like an asshole. I wonder whether you have to be an asshole to do what he's done. He is pushed, like where his physio would be like, Jeremy, take it easy.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you, I'm gonna walk.
Yeah.
And
Tom
he just-
Cruise would be like that. Like, imagine a
Totally.
snowplow trying to take on Tom Cruise.
There's no way that snowplow would
No
never
way.
exist.
Through sheer willpower, he would just like repel it. And if it did get him, he'd be 24 hours. Like, he'd have some crazy.
Easy. Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
Jeremy Renner has done this amazing recovery.
On you, Jez.
So I reckon that's an asshole thing.
I hate even telling the story because I don't like being negative about people.
No, yeah, but
it wasn't just me.
yeah,
And,
no,
yeah.
yeah.
Good luck to you, Jez.
Yeah, good luck to you. And you're a great actor, but don't do interviews anymore.
No, yeah.
Okay. What's something that people wouldn't really expect from the music industry?
For the most part, I think as someone who grew up being obsessed with music and obsessed with the music industry, it really didn't let me down.
Right.
Once I kind of got in and, at the peak of things, I feel like I was kind of in the inner sanctum.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was as wonderful as I had hoped. It's
Yeah.
magic, like
Are
it's
you
fucking sick.
Are you a wannabe rock star?
Oh, big time. I always wanted to be a performer, but then in my teens, I had a lot of friends, especially growing up in church, who were amazing musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So I very quickly realised I don't have the chops to be a musician,
Right.
but I want to be around them.
Right.
And then I realised I was good at talking,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, I'm going to interview them, and I want to bring my love and passion for music to the world. So it kind of made perfect sense. But yeah, part of me, in theory, would love to be a touring artist, but having seen it up close, there is no way I could handle it.
You would, yeah.
I look at Taylor Swift on that stage every night. If I have committed to have coffee with someone on a Tuesday, I am anxious and stressed
by far.
about having to go to coffee.
Yes.
One
Yes.
person who probably loves me and would just forgive me for not coming to coffee. She's got 100,000 people a night, 4 or 5 nights a week, that have been looking forward to this forever. She cannot get sick. She cannot be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
She has to get on stage and perform. I cannot imagine that pressure.
No, me neither.
No way. No freaking way.
You have to be a certain type of person.
Yes.
It's the same as Olympians.
Yes.
There are certain people who can do that.
Yes.
And if you can't, move away.
Yeah, move away. Because it's an
Step
obsession.
away.
Which is why I kind of like Nick Kyrgios when I just see that he's
Yes.
just been like, I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
And if that means I'm not the best of the best, great. But I'm just not willing to.
I've always thought that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, And we as audiences who are just so used to taking, sucking, I deserve the best out of everything that I don't even pay for, but I want it. I want the best, I want the most. We need to be more forgiving of people.
Well, I think that, people like Lewis Capaldi are really starting to, because we're seeing it now, that was something we would never see the insides of.
No way.
The machinations of what's going on in a breakdown.
Did you watch that? I broke my heart.
Bawled my eyes out.
Me too.
And I watched it with a friend who worked in the record industry for 2 decades. So, for her it was very triggering. Like, when he went to LA and they sat on the outside.
I wanted to punch every single one of those people.
She was like, these are the people I used to have to deal with.
And America is a whole new kettle. The people in Australia are very, very different to that.
Very, very. But
still be the pressure, of course.
Yeah. And she would have to deal with those all the time. She worked in marketing. And watching it with her was so interesting because she could see what was about to happen to him.
Yeah.
And I said at the end, there was a particular scene where he's at, I think, Radio 1 and they're like, who's going to get the #1 single for this week? And it was either him or it was Harry Styles. Like it was...
Yeah.
And he got it and everyone celebrated. And I said to my friend, Annie Potatoes, my best friend, what would have happened if he didn't? Like what would everyone standing in this room, these artists are that. They're artists, they're geniuses in this really weird way. They're so sensitive. And they've taken this kid who has all he's ever wanted to do and has done is play a guitar and sing really great songs. And they've just like, that's so great. We're going to take that and we're going to make it explode. And we've done that. Do it again.
Yeah, straight away.
Do it again. Do it again now.
Yeah.
Why haven't you done it yet?
Yeah.
And the pressure of that, you're watching him develop Tourette's, autoimmune problems.
It's not something that he's had all his life and he's hidden. It actually developed.
And
you're watching it.
That's what got me.
Too much stress.
That's what got me.
Oh,
it's like, can we somehow get the music industry to back the up?
Yeah.
And maybe
I think it's happening because I think the labels have less and less power now because artists are making their own way before they've even signed a record deal.
Yes.
So a lot of those younger artists are coming through and with the right management, the right help.
That's what I was going to say.
You've got to
have that right management.
Oh, and I see it countless times when an artist starts out and you meet the manager and you just go, that is going to end badly.
Yeah, you would.
And sometimes I want to pull them aside and go, ditch that piece of shit.
Yes.
I can't do that. But sometimes I get an ick straight away from people. I'm like, gross.
Oh.
Lewis is amazing. So hilarious. So wonderful.
And so special.
So special. And I love this post he did when his new album eventually went to #1. He had kind of this like fake hidden camera and he was on the phone and he's like saying in his accent, yeah, can you believe like I did the same fucking album again, that same sad shit and they've lapped it up. Lapped it up. And then he like hangs up and he's like, hold his #1 trophy. Hey guys, I love the calling of the bullshit, and him and Niall have this wonderful relationship and I love watching them be mates. Niall's another and Lewis is another absolute legend. They make the effort to kind of remember the last chat you have and they're legends. There are lots of really good artists in the world. And I think a lot of people they always ask me, who's the asshole? Who's really an idiot? But like in the thousands of times I've had big names in my studio, I could probably count on half a hand the times I've been disappointed in people. Because I think in this day and age, if you're an asshole, people find out pretty quickly.
They do.
And they don't want you. We get all of you now.
Yeah.
If you're an a-hole, like we're going to know on Instagram in a day.
Exactly.
So I think less and less we're getting those and more it's just kind of talented people who are willing and strong enough to deal with all of it. And then I think wonderful that we're going to get this new wave of Lewises who maybe can do a bit of a Nick Kyrgios and say, this is what I'll give you, but I'm not actually going to do the rest. And I think so they should.
Yes. And I think as our audiences, we'd support it.
I absolutely agree because I think we get it.
Thank you so much.
I love you.
I love you. This has been just such a wonderful episode. Thank you so much for being here. I adore everything about you. I can't wait to visit you in Dalesford.
Please.
And I can't wait to
bring the doggos.
I'm bringing the doggos, and I can't
building a fence.
Well, we're all of it, and just thank you.
Love you, darling.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Everyone. I know that you've just enjoyed this, so please rate and review us.
Well,
always
if you
5 stars
didn't
only.
like it, that's so fine.
But keep it to
Don't
yourself.
Yeah, don't tweet about it. Just
Reward the good, ignore the
ignore the
bad.
bad.
That's our new. We're living, we're loving and loving and
Living and living and living and loving and loving and living. I'm getting kinesiology now. I've never had it before.
Oh my God.
I had something cancel after this, and I've always wanted to go. I haven't told Adrian because he thinks it's Coco Jumbo. So hopefully he hasn't listened this far into it, 'cause I'm not going to tell him.
But put it up on your socials so everyone can follow and see how
Will
it
do,
goes.
exactly.
I'll be following it. Thank you. See you all. Well, I won't see you all. You'll all hear me in your ear holes next week. Love you. Bye.
Hey.